Oops, Brandon.
Oops. What? Maya?
I think we have an all comments episode.
Oh, you're kind of right. All right. Well,
let's get into it.
This is, like you just mentioned, kind of our oops all comments thing, right?
Yeah.
And no questions this time. So no oops all questions.
No oops all questions. Are we going to do one like that?
If there's enough questions.
That's true.
You know, I have seen some people make a Google Forms thing.
That'd be fun.
We can make it anonymous so people can ask whatever and don't have to be afraid to ask
an AMA
questions.
or something?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
We can do an oops all
next
questions in the next one.
Next one.
This one's oops all comments.
This is oops all comments.
So it's an oaks. Okay, anyway, we went through Blue Sky, Spotify, and I think a single comment from YouTube. Just some ways that everyone's been interacting with us since we've started our podcast journey so long ago in November of 2024. Going way back, we had The Goonies, we had Get Out, Dumb and Dumber,
yes,
Upgrade, Big Fish. No one really talked to us during
we were
that
just
little era.
Started. That was
right.
the infancy of
we
the
were
cast.
Just brand new.
Yes.
But with Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, we got a little traction.
New horizons. Yeah.
With the release of Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, I believe it was the day after, we posed the question of, hey, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, sort of a modern day noir detective take on things, right? Mm-hmm. So we thought, hey, what are some of your favorite noir detective films?
I don't know a lot about noir detective films. I was kind of curious to see what kind of films were out there that people recommended.
It's not one of my specialties either. I've come across a large number of them throughout my cinematic viewing history. A lot of them I don't really remember super well. Mm-hmm. But I've seen a few, but that means other people have seen a lot more than we have.
Especially people who really like noir detectives.
So, picking some of their brains, when I went through the comments, I didn't mark down everybody's names of who left comments. I always feel kind of sketchy. I didn't necessarily ask people's permission.
Yeah,
so
I get it.
I'm sure a lot of you probably wouldn't mind. And I mean, plus it is right there on social media. People can find the comment if they want. It's not like it's super secret. Mm-hmm. We're just trying to be courteous, at least this time out. Yes. But for now, some of these comments will just be unattributed.
All right. I haven't heard... I'm so embarrassed. I haven't heard of, I don't think any of these.
You haven't heard any of these? Okay, well.
Maybe a long time ago. Lookout sounds familiar.
Right.
Judas Kiss sounds familiar.
Yeah.
But
I would bet some of these you've maybe seen or heard of in passing through. These ones, I just wanted to mention this first batch.
I was just reading that. I'm like, what did you write here?
So the person who responded mentioned 3 films in particular. Hotspot, Lookout, Blink, 4 films, and Judas Kiss. However, when they mentioned Judas Kiss, it auto-corrected Judas to Jurassic.
New summer Jurassic Park hit.
Yeah.
For Valentine's Day.
So there was a brief discussion between us and them about Jurassic Kiss.
I like
it. Which would have been astounding.
I'm into it. You know, I don't think there's enough really good romantic films out there
about dinosaurs
I would like.
Well,
that
sure.
I'm into.
Yeah.
And this one seems like maybe one I'd be into.
Yeah. So the person who posted mentioned, it could be like a fortunate romance film where the lead falls in love with a velociraptor.
Yeah.
Only to find out too late it's a deadly romance.
Or maybe they have to kiss the velociraptor to turn it into a human being. But the problem is trying to get that kiss in without dying.
Without getting your face chomped off.
Yeah.
Right. I also put forth the idea of a Jurassic Park mashup with the film Out of the Past, which also happened to be a noir detective film.
Oh, well, there you go.
Starring Robert Mitchum. He was hired to go find Catherine, track her down and bring her back to this guy who, anyway, long story, doesn't really matter. It would have been something like that where Robert Mitchum's character chased her down to Isla Nublar, and then Jurassic Park. Anyway, it's not as good as the other ideas. So let's move back.
It was in your mind, and that's all that matters.
Right. So directly after that, Jason Parker showed up out of the blue, and he definitely seemed a lot more knowledgeable about them than I was. So Leia, why don't you name off a few that he listed there?
So he listed Harper, The Name of a Rose, Cast a Deadly Spell, Life Pod, Charade, Tell No One, Sleuth, Rear Window, Road Games, Private Eyes, Big Sleep, and Long Kiss Goodnight, which I do know that one.
Yes, you do know that one. Jason Parker, thank you for those additions there. That was a good long list. Most of those I have seen. I know.
Most of those I have seen.
Name of Rose. Okay. Yes. Here's Brandon gloating again.
Yeah. You're so good at it.
But then I came in, just throw in The Third Man, because that's kind of a really classic noir film there.
And to show your knowledge even further.
Well, of course, why not?
Pick one that nobody else has mentioned yet.
Ah, but everybody loves Third Man. Then we had another few suggestions of Out of the Past and Gun Crazy.
Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid.
Right, a nice comedic.
Classic.
Yes.
And The Green Man from 1956.
Yeah, The Green Man. Moving on from that, if anyone's looking for good noir film recommendations, there's kind of your list. Go back and cut through all the clutter of us kind of talking there. Leia, what's the next one that I had listed?
Batman Returns from, well, these are posts from December 17th and December 18th.
We ended up doing 2 posts on Batman Returns, one day after each other. But they were kind of fun topics. Not necessarily movie related, but sort of.
Yeah.
The first post was, name your favorite Batman characters from any Bat media.
Batman's one of my favorite superheroes. So
Batman is
super fun.
This one was pretty fun.
Jason Parker saying Clayface.
Oh, right. Clayface 3. Big distinction, actually.
Yes. Which, I would, never have suspected somebody would have said that was their favorite Bat media character, but I love it.
Yeah. Clayface 3, an odd sort of Clayface in the Clayface lineage. Let's just say that.
Is he the one that's got acid skin, wears a protective suit, and murders by touch?
Yes.
Pretty interesting.
He is one of, in my opinion, and apparently Jason Parker's as well, way more interesting than some of the current Clayface, where it's just sort of dudes who morph into other dudes.
Made out of clay.
So, yeah.
But he also did mention the animated series Joker and Mr. Freeze, which, the
Absolutely
animated series Joker
classic.
is one of my favorites. A lot of it because Mark Hamill does a lot of
Joker
voices.
voice,
For Joker, so I love that. Ledger Joker, of course. I love Heath Ledger's Joker. He also mentions 93 Catwoman.
Ah, yeah.
Is that from where it got really dark?
That was in the kind of 90s-ish revival kind of, where they were taking the classic Batman characters and really kind of giving them a more modern touch.
It was when it started to get really good.
So this was the Catwoman that a lot of people would envision as like she's got a very purple suit on, kind of her longer flowing hair rather than the closer cut that she has typically more currently. Like all through the 90s, that was the Catwoman you saw. Oh, I guess until Batman Returns when you got the cat suit. The black patchwork cat suit.
Yeah. He also mentioned Hathaway Catwoman, which I wouldn't have said that myself.
Right.
But it's mostly just because I forget that Anne Hathaway played Catwoman at one point.
Yeah, it was a very subdued version of Catwoman.
Miss, and there she is, But
but she did a great job in the role.
She did. And then KG Beast.
Yeah. Another kind of lesser, in the general Batman media, he's lesser known, but amongst Batman comic book fans, he is pretty well regarded as a decent villain. So, of course, I had to pop in there and mention Cassandra Cain.
You always mention it.
Because Cassandra Cain is probably my most favorite Batgirl ever.
Yeah.
She is badass. Super badass. Yeah. Love her character so much. But not here to gush about that.
All right. When we mentioned on 1218, if you could be Batman, Catwoman, or Penguin from any Bat media, who and why?
Right.
That was the question.
Because Batman Returns. Batman, Catwoman,
There's
Penguin.
so many different ones. Yes. And of course, Jason Parker chimes in. Kilmer Batman, because he kicked ass and he had a lot of really great one-liners.
Yeah, which is true.
Kilmer is one of those Bat characters. A lot of people forget he did it, but when they remember him, they're like, he was really good in that one. He was good in it. He
genuinely was a good Batman.
Yeah.
As much as that film gets lambasted, Kilmer was a good Batman.
He was.
And then the Don't Be Crazy pod, they mentioned the Batman Arkham Asylum and Arkham City games Batman.
I love that game.
That fantastic. Those 2 games in particular, the third one kind of fell down a little bit.
It did. When those 2 first games came out, though, oh my gosh, I was obsessed. I played those games all the time, and I just loved the action and the way the fighting was. And I mean, oh my gosh, the whole
super
thing
smooth. You felt like a badass while playing it.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, that Batman, as they mentioned in their comment, he was brilliant, brutal, deft, and a true symbol of vengeance. And boy,
he is vengeance.
You could feel how tired he was at the end of each game.
Yeah.
You want to mention the next one there?
Absolute Batman?
Absolute Batman, for those people who don't know, back in October of 24, they started an alternate universe DC Comics, Absolute Batman. So Leia, you know me, not a huge DC fan.
Batman's a little bit of an exception.
Batman is an exception, particularly Absolute Batman. It's such a good series.
Yeah.
It's a phenomenal, really cool, unique take on Batman. If people can find like a little collected edition of the series so far, do yourself a favor, pick it up. If you like Batman and you want to see things really taken in a different direction, check out the Absolute Batman series for sure.
Right, and then the last comment was Brubaker, Catwoman.
Right.
In the early 2000s.
So that's much more the Catwoman you see nowadays.
Yeah, with the stitch work and the shiny wetsuit.
Yeah, not so much the stitch work, but definitely a sleeker black suit, the little goggles.
Oh, yeah.
And all that
the short
stuff.
hair.
Short hair.
Yeah.
Yep, that's
She's pretty cute.
Super
like a
cute.
Little
yeah.
kitty cat pixie.
Yeah, that was kind of the era where she became more of an anti-hero and a larger ally to Batman. And she was on and off before that, but that was kind of her real era of, I sometimes do criminal things, but, I
in the world of D&D, what would she be? How would she align?
I hate to just put so many people in the true neutral box.
Yeah.
True
neutral, like bordering on good, maybe? I can go with that, I guess. Somebody's probably going to be upset about that.
Someone might, but
somebody's going to complain about that.
That's where we're going to put it for now.
All right.
And if you got disagreements with it, let's talk about it. Put it in the comments. And then we'll read your comment next time.
All right, so moving on to Die Hard.
Mm-hmm.
We posted in December 26th of last year who your favorite movie villains were in general.
Because Hans
Gruber, like,
come on,
one of my favorite villains of all time. What's your favorite villain? Of course, you had to chime in on your own post.
I did. Yeah, sometimes I do that. I just can't. Sometimes I gotta say stuff.
It's okay, yeah. So what did you go? What'd you go with?
So I've always loved to hate Nurse Ratched from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Who doesn't?
Of course, Clarence Boddicker from RoboCop, because if there's one person on Earth besides our sitting president who you just love to punch in the face, it's probably Clarence Boddicker. Mm-hmm. And then also popped in there with Judge Doom.
I'm sorry, that's a great choice. I think a lot of people would agree with you on that one and probably forgot that he existed as a villain.
That shoe.
Let's not talk about the shoe. I'm going to cry. We
can't
talk about the shoe, okay?
It didn't do anything to anybody.
We can't talk about the shoe. That was a horrifying scene when I was a kid.
If there was one film that truly terrified me as a child of that age, besides the movie
there's
The Gate.
A lot.
E.T.
scared me. I mean, come on.
Oh, E.T. Phone Home. With the Reese's
scene
Pieces.
where he's all sick and looks pasty and nancy, and they got him like,
a really...
Now the Navigator.
Oh, yeah, Flight of the Navigator?
I could go on.
So I also popped in with Angel Eyes from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and then Leia. Norman Stansfield from Leia and the Professional.
Yeah, it was what's-her-name's first film?
Natalie Portman.
Natalie Portman, yeah. Jason Parker, Bozo, Slug, Wanda, and Julie from Toxic Avengers. I think that's when you guys became best friends.
It could be.
Did we just become best friends?
Those are the four characters who were sort of the impetus for creating Toxie.
Yeah.
The bullies, they were the ones who pushed him into some toxic sludge. Regardless, because of them, he ended up in toxic sludge and became
You're
Toxie.
A big Toxic Avenger fan.
Love the Toxic Avenger.
You know all about him. Simon Phoenix, Demolition Man.
Yes, indeed. Wesley Snipes.
Yeah. I mean, back in that day, Wesley Snipes was the bee's knees.
There's your chaotic evil character right there.
Sam Jackson is Richmond Valentine in Kingsman.
Yes.
But Sam Jackson, Samuel Jackson always plays, I mean, whatever he's in.
He's good.
Black Snake Moan, I think, was one of my favorite
roles he
ever played in.
That was an intense role.
But he's also, I think he was on Snakes on a Plane.
Snakes on a Plane,
yeah. He's in all sorts of films. He's really great. But yes, great villain in this one.
Yeah, super good.
Cassiopeia Developments, it's an indie game dev studio from France.
Oh, right, yeah.
They mentioned a couple that they like. Evil Ash.
Yeah,
from Army of Darkness. Good choice.
Yeah, super good villain.
Ms. Ganush. I forgot how you mentioned
Ms. Ganush, yeah.
Yeah, Drag Me to Hell. Oh my gosh, I love that movie so much.
That's such a good movie.
It's such a good movie. And she's a great villain in that film because she's like so unassuming and old, but then you realize she's like a demon, man.
And that led to a little discussion about who's really the bad guy. Is it?
We've had that discussion a lot recently, actually.
Yeah,
We were playing The Last of Us 2. And we had a lot of discussion about who's the evil, who's the villain here, and how do you draw that line. And, and then when we were watching Walking Dead, we had the same discussion.
Because is it Mrs. Ganush from the fact that she cursed this woman out of spite and revenge? Or is it, boy, I don't remember the lead character's name, unfortunately. But is it her because she had the choice to let the application slide and not take the home from her? Anyway, great discussion anyhow. Yeah. So lastly, another commenter said Al Pacino as Michael Corleone, Godfather.
Classic.
And
well, okay, this next one though.
Followed up with Emperor Palpatine.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. I mean,
he's like the ultimate in sci-fi
bad guys,
evil.
bad guys. I think
he's like the one who made bad guys.
Yeah.
Bad guys.
I mean, there's a lot of other villains that I just, when I was going through this list again, and even when the initial post happened, I just wanted to go nuts with villains. I just wanted to list villains, but I didn't.
All right. So next we had a discussion after we did the episode Hudsucker Proxy.
Right.
January 2nd, we were looking at underrated films that we felt deserved another shot or a second chance.
Yeah.
What are some films that you don't feel like got the recognition that they deserved? You chimed in.
I feel like I should be ashamed of myself.
You should not be.
But I'm not.
What did you chime in?
So I came up with Children of Men.
Great movie.
Drive, Running Scared, and Pontypool.
Yeah, Pontypool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good choices.
Yeah, I thought so.
And then somebody also said Strange Days.
Strange Days, which eventually became one of our topic movies.
Running Scared as well. Like a deer in headlights.
I totally forgot we did Running Scared.
We totally did. That's funny.
Well, now that I'm embarrassed, someone else chimed in with Overboard.
Oh, yeah.
Take the attention off of me. Of course, Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell.
What a team those two are.
Oh, man, the comedy coming out of that movie.
Yeah. Moving on, we covered Quiz Show. And on January 7th, we went out there and said, what are some other films that you liked that were loosely based on real events?
Inspired by.
Yeah, inspired by someone's life. Because I was curious. I like films like that, but it's hard for me to find a film that I like that's inspired by somebody else. Brandon chimed in with...
It's got to be someone else. It can't be me again. I chimed in there right away with Hidden Figures.
That was a great pick,
about the amazing women at NASA who literally put...
all the math into getting to space.
Astronauts into space. They were doing the work at NASA. And they deserve more recognition than they ever got. Mm-hmm. Someone else popped in with All the President's Men, which of course is about the Watergate scandal. Still one of my, I love that movie so much.
And it's really interesting you love that movie so much because you're not really a big political movie fan.
I don't typically like political in my movies. And I also don't typically like real life inspired films.
But this one checks all the boxes.
But that one, I've just always really liked that one.
It was a well done one, that's why.
Maybe it's because taking down top-level politicians for being corrupt. Love it. They also mentioned Spotlight, which was a film based on the journalist who exposed the Boston Archdiocese with child sexual abuse.
That had to be a hard one to do.
Yeah, and then followed that up with Zodiac.
I mean, I like
Zodiac killings.
True crime aficionado.
Exactly right.
Hey, Jason Parker popped in.
Hey, there he is. What did he have to say this time?
He mentioned Great Escape, The Replacements, City of God,
yes.
Alive. I love that movie. It's so intense.
Yeah, it is.
And then he also chimed in on some real life inspired.
Yeah,
I guess.
So they're not true to the events that happened, but inspired by, yeah.
So it's Tombstone, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Oh, and then the next commenter said 42, Miracle, Ollie, Remember the Titan, The Blind Side, which actually was a really good film.
Yeah, it was.
And Coach Carter.
Yeah. Gosh, pretty much all of those options are really solid based on real life or loosely inspired by options. I just thought it was fun to see Texas Chainsaw Massacre pop in there. Because, obviously it is real life inspired.
It is.
It's not
so loosely based. I don't even think anybody knows what's real, what was real and what isn't real.
Next topic was on Taken when we released that episode back in early January. January 14th, 2025. We were kind of curious about one-person army movies. Like the movies where it's one person against a mob.
I love those movies.
Right? They're fun. They're never award-winning films, nor should they be, but so much fun.
John Wick wasn't mentioned.
I was surprised.
I'm actually really surprised. I'm looking at the list and I'm like, John Wick's got to be in there. No.
It's
not.
I was going to mention it myself, but I was like, I don't want to take that from someone else. Yeah. So I didn't. But I did pop up with the first comment.
Oh, yeah. Look, you're first there, aren't you? What was the ones that you mentioned?
I had the
They're all good
need
ones.
to call out Gunpowder Milkshake.
Great film.
Old Boy.
Good film.
The original one, the American remake, not bad, but that original one just slaps so fucking hard.
It does.
And then Sisu.
I think is literally my all-time most favorite one-man army film that's ever happened.
Sisu?
Yes, which is hard to believe. I
It
know.
is hard to believe.
But it literally is my favorite
It was
film
really good.
of all time.
One dude killing a whole bunch of Nazis? Fuck yeah.
Bro, and he is so awesome.
Yeah.
He's old.
He's old,
and he
awesome.
kicks ass.
He just wants to cash
He just
in
wants
his
his
gold.
and he wants to go home. I love that film.
Love it. The Best Pictures podcast came in and they said, hey, you got to mention Die Hard. So there we got that, of course. Wait a minute.
Who would it be?
Leia.
Me?
What are you doing in the comments section?
I had to say a couple because I love one-man army films. And I especially love one-man army films that feature women because I just think they're so badass.
It's true. Very true.
So I had to mention Becky.
Of course. Yeah, that's a good
and the
one.
follow-up. Those are both
Yeah.
two very great films if you like a one-man army with a young girl who's just taking everyone on with her intellect. She is awesome.
She's a little badass, and I love it.
And then Shadow in the Clouds.
Right.
What banger. That's such a good film.
Yeah, it's not necessarily that she's fighting a horde of monsters in this one, but it is a great, 1v1, I'm going to kick your ass with my cleverness.
She's not only fighting demons, whatever she's fighting, she's also got to fight with her right to be a part of the team.
Right.
Just because she's a woman.
She's fighting against sexism, misogyny.
It's crazy because she's dealing with all that. And she's dealing with this other thing, and these men don't know what's going on. And it's just such a good film. Anyway. Then
another couple comments came in with the movies Payback, White House Down, Equalizer 1 and 2, Transporter, Desperado. Love Desperado.
Yes, you do.
Hard Target, Beekeeper.
Beekeeper was pretty good.
Yeah.
I feel just a horror movie.
Yeah, just kind of an action.
Flick,
yep.
Yeah. CJ Loves Horror.
CJ Loves Horror came in.
Cobra.
Yeah, and that's...
Is that an 80s film?
Boy, is it ever.
I feel like I remember watching that way back in the day.
It is 80s Stallone.
Yeah, okay. So back in January 20th, 2025, it was a really, really cold day.
It was super chilly.
And I happened to catch a news clipping that said that today in 1954, on Rogers Pass, Montana, the temperatures dipped to negative 69.7 degrees Fahrenheit, which was a record for that day in history. At the time, it was -5 in Wisconsin.
Yeah, not exactly close, but still damn cold.
But then it got me thinking, what are some of your all's favorite movies when you think about below zero temperatures or environmental type cold movies, cold weather movies?
Things that give you the chills just thinking about them.
Yeah.
And not in the horror way, necessarily.
And I was shocked at how many people came for this one.
There was a big response.
Yeah, I didn't think there would be that many movies about cold weather, but it
happened.
Yeah, Shining.
So that was us. We mentioned that. Yes.
We wrote The Shining.
The Shining.
I think I had mentioned that I liked The Shining just because it does remind me of, anytime I think of The Shining, I always think of him in the snow when he's freezing and all you see is the frozen face.
That end shot.
At the end. Somebody mentioned The Lodge. Ravenous. That's a good one.
Love Ravenous so much.
Yeah. Someone else mentioned their comments. Empire Strikes Back.
Of course.
I mean, who can't forget the tauntaun, where he cuts the tauntaun open and sleeps inside of it.
Yeah. How many times has that been parodied on so many other things?
So many times. I think the one I'm thinking of right now at the top of my head is Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty.
Get in, what was his name?
Bubo?
Bubo? Yeah,
something like that.
Something like that. Get in him.
Yeah.
It's
such
happen.
a gross scene.
Wait, what planet are we on? Jeremiah Johnson. I don't think I've ever heard of that one.
So that was a Robert Redford, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Quite a ways back. I think that was a 70s.
That might be why. I'm not as familiar with things before the 80s. Centigrade. Terrible. Skip it.
The commenter for Centigrade says it was absolutely terrible. Definitely recommended to skip it.
All right.
But he threw it out there because it was cold.
Okay.
But he did, because of how much he was not recommending Centigrade, said, hey, but if you want something on the flip side,
things
get really hot.
Oh, I like it.
247 degrees Fahrenheit.
So if you're feeling cold and it's a freezing day,
if you want to warm up,
this movie and warm up a little bit.
Exactly. So 247 degrees Fahrenheit is a kind of lower budget horror film, people getting killed in a sauna.
Oh, let's see what else we got. Rise of the Guardians, Fargo, Revenant. Revenant was a really good one.
Yes.
That was a good one.
That was Leonardo DiCaprio, right? Based on...
Yeah, where he's in the woods and he looks all like crazy looking. Oh, so good. It's a little slow and it is quiet like a lot of the time. But when the action hits, it's pretty good.
It was based on a real life guy who got left for dead and mauled by bears, and just his travel back home was treacherous.
Yeah. Never Cry Wolf. This next one is like, Never Cry Wolf, The Thing.
The Thing, of course. McCabe and Mrs. Miller.
I don't think I've seen that one.
It's an older one.
Okay, that explains it. Dead Snow.
Right.
That's a great
little
one.
Zombies for you.
30 Days a Night. I love that film.
Kind of vampires.
Yeah, it's not like an award-winning film or anything.
Right.
And it's pretty good.
It is still
it's
a good
fun
one.
watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And Ben Temple-Smith is like my favorite comic book creator of all time.
Yeah, and he was
the illustrator for a lot of that. So
that's true. Really fun illustrations there
with that film.
Yeah,
so
you do love some Temple-Smith
I
for
do.
sure.
Yeah, and then Gravity because space is cold.
I mean, really, when you're thinking about cold, kind of hard not to think space. So, moving on from there, the next topic, this one was a small comment, but I wanted to mention it just because of a very special call out on it. On Real Genius, it was really just a comment to our posting that, hey, the episode had come out. A follower on Blue Sky, his name is Carl Keller. He worked music on Real Genius.
Oh, cool.
So he popped in because he wanted to, in specific, give his own shout out to Dave Marvitt, who is one of the Caltech students who kind of verified
realism to
all
film.
the pranks.
Yeah, that's cool.
And Carl did say that Dave did often bring him lunch.
Oh,
so
that goes a long way.
It really, it's
at work. We lost somebody
gesture.
who used to do that for us. He went to another company, and every time we have lunch, we're like, God, we really wish that.
Really
wish Dad was here. He would bring us lunch.
It'd be so nice.
On Real Genius, we also, the next day, posted what your favorite movie snacks were, because, of course, in Real Genius is the popcorn scene, the infamous popcorn scene. And we only got a few posts on that one.
A few posts on that one.
But these are interesting, like the first one in particular, and the third one, snow caps.
Snow caps.
Really?
Yeah.
I never think about those. People don't even buy those anymore.
Almost exclusively at theaters.
It's just chocolate, like, kisses with, like, sprinkles on top,
those little nonpareil kind of white.
Honestly, I don't think I've ever had one.
What?
I mean, I'm on a keto diet now, so I don't think I can.
You can't have one now, but I
don't think I've ever had one.
I really like them. I like the texture. I like the mixture of the chocolate. Make some. We could try. We'll figure something out.
Nachos.
Nachos, pretty classic at a theater,
classic.
Right?
Tandoori bread and hummus.
Yeah. There's somebody who just likes bringing in their tandoori bread and hummus.
Are you taking that to movies?
Sure, why not?
In your backpack?
People have snuck in more.
That's true.
As you'll see in the next
I'm imagining somebody sitting next to me, like pulling out their hummus and pulling out their bread. Maybe they're watching the movie at home.
Leia.
Maybe it's at home.
Maybe. But what's the next comment?
Chinese food.
I was having a conversation with the person who commented Chinese food, and I was like, oh, you mean for sure just like, little snacks. He's like, no, full meal Chinese food. I just bring it in. He said, luckily though, I attend a cinema that is pretty friendly with me.
That's
and
cool.
They allow me to bring that in. So there's people out there, Leia, bringing in full Chinese meals.
I want to eat Chinese food at a movie theater. Of course, there's some theaters that let you eat pizza and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, those kind of brew and movie kind of places. Yeah.
Like the Alamo in Texas.
Oh, right. Of course. The next posting, I just wanted to mention it because on 1/27/25, we posted that our beloved little Sammy cat had passed away.
Yeah.
And in his honor, we initially had posted and said, hey, we lost our cat today. In his honor, let's post your animals, your pets. And we'll have a celebration of animals. And it really did turn into a huge...
It actually really helped me a lot in those days that followed because I was really beside myself and missed that. Still miss him. A lot. But I really was I was suffering.
Yeah.
But and it was really nice to hear all the nice, kind words people had to say and see pictures of their alive cats or their passed on cats or stories about their animals. I'm tearing up a little bit. It was so helpful.
It was really a post that had started with Sam, but I mean, mid-post, I was like, really, this is more of a post, less about Sam and more just about all of our really awesome animal
combined experiences with animals. So,
I mean, that's kind of what I still view it as, is, hey, Sam was maybe there carrying the baton, starting the parade. but it was a post for everybody and their animal companions.
And it warmed my heart to know that, 21,900 people got to see his cute little face.
Yeah, 21,900 likes on that post, which was astounding. To say that we will never reach that height again is like not even any form of hyperbole. No. It was a phenomenal outreaching.
I'm my little kitty.
Yeah,
you guys all got to see him. It's wonderful.
I remember creating that post initially and then just going about my business, expecting a few people might say something here or there. I was doing some dishes at the time, and you came in and you were like, Brandon, this post is going crazy. And I'm like, okay, so like 10 people have liked it. Great. And it was like 1,000 people in like 20 minutes. So it was pretty astounding. I just want to kind of take a moment here to really appreciate everybody for their outpouring of support.
Yeah.
Not only for us, but for other people in the posting who also lost animals, who hopefully that was also comforting to them. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you.
But anyway, spent a long time on that. So let's continue rolling on through.
We may have to turn this into 2 parts.
We may have to.
Yeah, because we're not even
halfway. The next comment was Elijah Wood's birthday.
Yay! I love Elijah Wood.
On January 28th of 25, we decided to ask, what is your favorite Elijah Wood movie or role?
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot
that people don't even know that he was in.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like the first response we got was the movie 9.
That was that cartoon, right?
It is animated. Yeah, he was like a little sack creature.
That was really
kind of thing.
Visually stunning. Film.
I love it. It's such a dark theme.
Yeah.
The setting was dark, post-apocalyptic. It was such a good movie. Criminally underrated.
Criminally, yeah.
Yes.
I agree.
Lord of the Rings, of course.
How many times did we mention Lord of the Rings beating out another movie that we loved?
I know, right?
Yeah. Oh, guess what? They're against Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
well,
there it is again.
Clearly not going to win anything.
Lord of the Rings. It was there, so nothing else could be.
Yep.
Kelly from the Final Girls podcast, she popped in with Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
That's an underrated movie, too.
He had a very small part in that movie. But boy, was he creepy boyfriend in that one, for sure.
Yeah, he's good at creepy.
He is
sorry,
shockingly
not sorry,
good.
Elijah, but you are very good at creepy.
He's done so many good horror films, too, and creepy roles.
Yeah. I mean, skipping ahead, Sin City was one that somebody mentioned, and man, was he icky in that film.
He was so gross in that one.
So creepy and scary.
Yeah. Yeah,
but
just his... did he even talk?
I don't think so.
I don't think he did. His stoicism, his quietness is just creepy.
Yeah.
His
super
presence.
Creepy. Yeah.
And then his film that he had done semi-recently, Maniac. But yeah, so we skipped ahead a little bit.
We did skip ahead a little because I had to mention his creepiness.
Yes,
but he was in Good Son, but he was pretty young in that one.
He was the good kid in that one.
He was.
Macaulay Culkin.
Right, Macaulay Culkin was the creepy one. That's right. All of them?
Yeah, she just likes all of his movies.
So that's not a movie.
No.
I was like, I've never heard that movie before.
Her comment,
she just likes all of them.
Her comment was simply all of them because
Elijah
Wood
is a treasure.
Is a treasure.
He is a treasure.
He really is.
And then Spy Kids.
Yeah. I watched him at work when I worked at Best Buy on break. I think I talked about how when I worked there, people would put Blu-rays in the break room.
You just watch whatever.
Yeah, it'd just be on, and you just watch it, and you go back to work. So he played a character called The Guy. Again, kind of a small part, pretty epic.
Clearly memorable.
Yeah, super memorable.
Okay. So we also covered Groundhog's Day, and covering that, we kind of wanted to see what other people's favorite time travel movies are, or Groundhog's Day wasn't really like a time travel,
right?
Movies that messed with time used time in a different way than it normally goes, which is linear,
right?
And of course, you chimed in with
12 Monkeys.
It's such a great film.
Yes, love that one a lot. There was another posting talking about time crimes, which that one is a pretty unique take on time travel. Kind of a fun one, honestly.
Betrayal. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Of course.
I mean, if you don't think of that movie when you think about time travel, what are you doing?
Yeah. What is going on in your life?
I chimed in.
Oh, you did you?
Yes, because my favorite one is Run, Lola, Run.
Run, Lola, Run.
Which I'm surprised I remembered.
Really?
When I remembered it. But then when I remembered it, I was like, God, that is a really good time traveling movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
time loop.
In a time loop, and
so good.
In a different language, so it's a good film.
Yeah, really well done too. Another mentioned Primer, Predestination, Edge of Tomorrow, and Time Bandits.
Oh, Time Bandits, yeah. Time After Time.
Time After Time.
Ennie's Men?
Ennie's Men, yeah, kind of a psychological horror sort of deal on that one.
Hot Tub Time Machine.
Time Machine.
That's like a more modern one. But
Yeah.
that's a pretty good
That's
one.
one that when I first heard that it was being released,
You're like, come on.
I scoffed so hard.
Ugh.
And watching it, is it fantastic? No. But it is fun.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
If you can allow yourself to be entertained by it, it is fun.
The next post, we kind of moved off of a theme of, talking about the movies we've been discussing and kind of getting more into some video games. And maybe we've been playing some video games more heavily.
I can tell you what happened on that one in particular. It was Valentine's Day. You and I don't particularly celebrate
I don't
Valentine's
like the
Day.
Hallmark holidays very much.
So in my head, I was thinking, Gaming Times Day. That's kind of fun, right? I just happened to also be listening to the Mass Effect Lorecast podcast at the time. And I was like, I want to know about people's favorite Mass Effect companions. So I made a post asking, who's your favorite Mass Effect
and
companions?
not everybody would be able to chime in here. I'm sure not everybody's played Mass Effect.
It was a very short response.
Yeah.
But we did have 3 counting me.
Yeah. They're all unsurprising, though.
Super unsurprising. And you'll notice a definite theme.
Yes.
I, of course, chimed in with Tali and Garrus because they are awesome and inseparable.
Yeah.
She mentioned Garrus because Garrus is friggin' awesome.
Garrus. Pour and Coffee mentioned Tali and Garrus.
Tali and Garrus.
So I do have to mention the one other character that I really loved that nobody else typically mentions is Thane.
Thane. Yeah.
I really like Thane. He's a little too on the religious side for me, and I think that might be the reason that I don't 100% think he's better than Garrus, say. But if he hadn't been so religious, he would have actually outbeat Garrus for me, which is a lot because I love Garrus.
Yeah, it's a very different spiritual take with him.
It is.
I mean, there's so many other phenomenal Mass Effect companions.
All of them are good. Are you kidding?
Morden, Rex, Grunt. I mean, you could probably go through the whole damn list, honestly.
Yeah. In keeping with the Gaming Times theme, we asked what some of your most beloved games are. Like in general, not even just Mass Effect. Just what's your favorite games? Yeah, pretty good response here.
Yeah, fairly decent.
Yeah. Jason Parker. Resogun?
Resogun. It's a shoot 'em up. And Jason Parker admitted he's not a huge gamer, but that's one that he tended to gravitate to a lot.
Okay.
And I'm terrible at shoot 'em ups.
Yeah.
But I still like them. But boy, am I so awful at them. Terrible.
Can't be good at every video
I don't
game
think I've ever completed a shoot 'em up ever.
Okay. Well, he's got one up on you then.
He does.
KT Baldacero?
Yeah. I believe that's the pronunciation.
Did you guys become best friends after that?
Possibly. Because
Dark Souls?
Dark Souls.
Yeah.
I friggin' love Dark Souls.
I think a lot of people like Dark Souls, but not a lot of people have ever played it.
Yeah.
Or beat it.
Probably.
Or love it.
And then there's
it's so frustrating.
There's the Dark Souls trilogy. You've got the Demon Souls that preceded it. You've got Bloodborne, which came after it. And then Elden Ring, of course. Yeah. Very, very, very similar.
If you don't like one, you're not going to like the rest. Yeah. That's kind of what your point is.
In my opinion, they're all phenomenal.
I think you had asked me once if I'd ever played it. I would definitely play it.
Yeah.
But I will never play it because I will never be able to
you would
stay
be
with it.
Too intensely frustrated.
Yeah. All right, Jason Gibson.
Yeah, he came in with a good old list.
Holy macaroni. These are a lot of games we play.
I think he's got a phenomenal list right here.
Yeah.
So I had to include it. It was longer than most. So
do the list this time.
Jason Gibson came in with Mass Effect,
Yay.
Okami, Katamari Damacy, Jade Empire, Super Metroid, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, the Fable series.
Oh my gosh, I love the Fable series.
Love it. Metal Gear Solid 3, Splinter Cell Conviction, Toe Jam and Earl, Knights of the Old Republic games, Pikmin series, Fallout 3, Skyrim, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2, so awesome. And X-Men Legends 1 and 2, also so awesome. There was that little renaissance where Marvel games were actually good and fun.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Leia.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, the Borderlands series.
It wouldn't be right if we didn't mention Borderlands.
Right.
I mean,
that's one of our favorites.
It is.
It's our go-to well over and over again.
Oh, looks like you showed up on this list.
Oh.
Not first this time, though.
Not first this time. I gave other people the chance. But I mentioned kind of one retro, kind of one middle of the road, and then one current. So I went Legend of Zelda as an OG, kind of early favorite. Silent Hill 2.
I think those next.
Pretty much my all-time favorite.
Right next to Dark Souls, I think is like one of your favorites of all time.
That is probably my all-time favorite video game.
Okay.
Hands down. And then The Witcher 3, because The Witcher 3 is a phenomenal RPG.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you have to mod out crafting, because crafting is a sin that should not be in any video game.
You think it's a hot take, or do you think most people feel the same way?
I would like to think more people are on my side,
Yeah.
but I doubt it.
I'm curious. Now I gotta post that. I gotta say, hot take or not, is crafting necessary?
Is crafting in your video games good or bad? Because I think it is one of the worst things to impose on a video game player. Take out the crafting and then add in a more robust fast travel system, because walking across a map
is terrible.
Is too long.
Yeah.
And then we had one last respondent with
F-Zero.
F-Zero, one of the best before Mario Kart on
64
SNES. Fantastic racer.
Yeah.
Love it, love it, love it.
All right. Let's wrap up this first half with one last post.
Yeah.
We had done an episode on Labyrinth,
Mm-hmm.
and on February 26th, we had asked y'all what your favorite childhood movies were. Because we all have our favorites.
Yeah, we do.
Man.
Not according to our responses, but this might have to be a topic we revive sometime.
Yeah, because come on, everybody's got it. I mean, even I'm curious to know people who are younger than me what their favorite childhood movies are.
Absolutely.
It's got to be completely different than what
It's got to be stuff that I'm not familiar with.
Yeah. So, of course, somebody had posted Labyrinth, Never-Ending Story, Sword in the Stone.
Oh, so good, each one of them.
Each of
love
them very
so
good,
much.
and definitely something I remember from my childhood.
Mm-hmm. And then I popped in there
had to chime in with
Black Cauldron.
Yeah.
Because what is better than a really good childhood movie?
A Disney movie that's dark and scary.
Yes. Oh, Leia.
Yeah. That one didn't do so well, but not for the right reasons.
Was probably one of the worst performing Disney animated classics.
Which is super sad, because it's a good film.
Because it scared the shit out of kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody else had mentioned Dark Crystal and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
I should have posted and mentioned my favorite from when I was a kid.
Yeah,
it's The Last Unicorn. That one scared the bejesus out of me. And it was creepy, but I was obsessed with unicorns.
Oh, such a good one. Such a good.
And Legend, of course.
Oh, and
also.
Legend,
yeah. All right. Anyway.
Let's just wrap it up here, folks. We've still got, we're literally going to do another episode because we do have enough to
We do have enough for another one, especially if this one does well. If it doesn't, you guys aren't interested in it.
Yeah.
We just don't
honestly, I'm expecting this is going to be one of our least listened to episodes.
Yeah, but it was fun anyway. I don't care.
It is fun anyway. It's fun. It's fun to recognize the people that interact with us.
Yes.
In the future, I'll find some way to have more of a permission to use your username, I guess, because I would like to call you out if you're interacting with us. That's all stuff we'll work out behind the scenes. Thank you, everyone, for listening to us again. Oh, you know what? I do need to address something really quick, and it's going to be jumping ahead, but it's only one thing I'm going to jump ahead for. The rest we'll save for later.
Okay.
So on Spotify, our most recent episode drop, our good buddy Jason Parker popped in to leave a comment on Spotify, which I endorse everybody here to go ahead and do. Feel free to comment on our episodes if you want.
Absolutely.
We absolutely
Please
love it. In the next episode, we will read out a bunch of comments that came from Spotify. But I do have to mention, because poor Jason Parker, with our drop episode, he said, "What's up, fam? You keep messing with me. Oh, we're going to make one episode a month." And this is the second episode since that announcement. What was that, 10 days ago? I mean, don't get me wrong. Kind of like, I'm still happy you're making episodes.
It's still great.
So I do want to clarify our regular style with a whole bunch of like trivia and knowledge about a film.
Once a month.
Those are once a month. All these kind of weird
in-between
things, just putting them together and throwing them out there.
Yeah, just seeing what sticks to the wall.
Yeah, trying some new stuff to see if we can capture some more listeners. So anyway, that's that. Didn't want to leave Jason Parker hanging on that. He needs a response.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you again, as always, everyone, for hanging out with us here. Hopefully you enjoyed this. If you're looking for movie recommendations on any of these topics, hopefully you wrote a few down. That's it.
That's it. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, see you next time on the Movie Theater Lobby.
Bye.
Bye.